They're a target for ID thieves.
My document might give them a social security number to sell.
3 years after saying it would stop, this agency is still mailing out millions of full SSNs.
The state is aiding and abetting identity theft.
And a permanent fix is years away.
So you won't tell us how often you mess up and compromise people's identity?
I can't.
Expect original reporting from KPIX 5 News. Expect more.
Mary Shaw goes to great lengths to protect her mail and her identity, even using a mail tracking service that emails her images of each letter that leaves the post office. Which is how she learned, despite her best efforts, one of California's largest agencies may have compromised her anyway.
Someone knew that my document might give them a social security number to sell.
You see, like millions of Californians collecting unemployment, disability, maternity leave, the Employment Development Department sends Mary clearly marked letters with her full social security number printed inside. And thanks to informed delivery, she knows this letter never arrived.
This particular one was the only one with sensitive information, and it was the one that disappeared.
Envelopes like these are a target for ID thieves, which is why state law prohibits putting someone's social security number in the mail. But 3 years after the state first assured us and lawmakers it would stop, it's still putting Californians at risk.
The state is aiding and abetting identity theft by recklessly disregarding their duty.
And consumer watchdog's Jamie Court says, while consumers don't have the legal authority to stop them,
The Attorney General can sue them. The governor should come down on Director Henning like a ton of bricks.
We shared our findings with the governor's office, which oversees the EDD, and Attorney General Javier Becerra, currently running for re-election. He has the power to take legal action. Both declined our request to comment, instead telling us to talk to the EDD. EDD Director Patrick Henning has repeatedly declined our request for an interview, but after 3 years and over 100 emails, the agency's head of communications has finally agreed to talk.
Until we get our permanent solution in place, we're trying to do a lot of short-term solutions.
Lori Levy explains the long-term solution is a planned overhaul of the agency's antiquated computer systems, something they won't even begin work on until after 2020. And in the meantime, we've discovered they failed to keep their promises.
This is an email from you on May 18th, 2016. EDD customers do have online options that do not involve mailing of documents. Less than 2 months ago, I was enrolled in online and I was still getting my social security number in the mail.
The good news is that we have removed the SSN from this particular form, and in the future, when you opt out.
On what date? On what date?
In the last 2 months. And in the last...
So this was sent 2 months ago?
Yeah, in the last few weeks we have...
She revealed shortly after we questioned the agency about documents I received while on maternity leave, they finally got around to removing the number from these letters, mailed every 2 weeks, to every person collecting disability or maternity benefits.
What prevented you from removing this number 3 years ago when I first brought it to your attention?
All of it takes time, and we have numerous forms.
So how many people are still getting their social security number in the mail?
I don't have people because we don't track things by people. We track things by claims.
And she says they send out about 3 million claims a year.
But I would say our highest volume of forms are some of the ones we've been able to mitigate over the last 3 years.
However, of the more than 450 different affected forms, the state's only redacted or removed social security numbers from about 160, around 35%.
Why can't I opt out of mail altogether?
We don't have that full capability right now. If we were to remove the SSNs, it would prevent us from being able to pay benefits timely.
State law prohibits printing a social security number on any materials that are mailed, unless state or federal law requires it on the mailed document. So first, the agency claimed it is required to use social security numbers under the federal Social Security Act. But the feds say it's not required to print them on mailed documents, and other states don't. So the EDD cited a different law that permits it to disclose, quote, personal information to the individual it pertains. Again, it doesn't require they mail the number, and they appear to be violating that law too, disclosing personal information to the wrong people. Several viewers told us the EDD mailed them other people's documents with full Social Security numbers.
How in the world did this piece of paper get into an envelope addressed to me?
So finally, the EDD pointed to the Unemployment Insurance Code, which still doesn't require they mail the numbers, but does give Director Patrick Henning authority to permit the use of any information he deems necessary.
Let's talk about complaints. You sent an email to me this week and you said the EDD is not aware of any cases where our forms have been used to commit identity theft. How would you become aware of that?
I don't know, but I can tell you we're not aware of that.
Because ID thieves generally don't call the EDD to say, hey, guess how I stole this person's identity.
But we've received numerous complaints from people who say they contacted the EDD, reporting issues ranging from misdirected mail to mail theft.
Yeah, a lot of people complain.
How often does that happen?
I can tell you it's very rare.
But what does that mean? You send out millions of documents a year. What to you is very rare?
We don't hear that many cases.
Still, the agency refused to provide numbers, arguing it's not public information.
Well, it's not disclosable.
So you won't tell us how often you mess up and compromise people's identity?
I can't. I don't have that information.
Unlike most, at least Mary knows she was compromised.
My information is out there and I don't know who has it.
She's now enrolling in credit monitoring and pulling credit reports.
And that's a lot of work, and it's ongoing.
Ongoing, just like the agency's efforts to stop putting people at risk. Meanwhile, it's still printing Mary's Social Security number on her documents. Julie Watts, KPIX 5.
Now, Julie reports the agency has agreed to add a disclaimer on the website that online enrollees will still get paper mail. However, there's no way to track when that mail might come or if sensitive information is compromised. We will be following up with Governor Brown and Javier Becerra as well.